It's that time of year again. Welcome to the biggest baking holiday of the year, St. Patrick's Day. If all you're planning to bake this St. Patrick's Day is some clover-shaped cookies with green icing and green sprinkles, that's fine, but I'm gonna give you some options and show you how you can cake it all the way. Glasses are optional.
St. Patrick's Day is not a baking holiday.
It is.
Literally no one bakes at St. Holiday.
At St. Holiday. Where is everyone on St. Patrick's Day if they're not at home baking? The first cake is where the controversy with me and the leprechauns began. It's my leprechaun hat cake, which I am very proud of, but I think I pissed off some leprechauns. I talked about their fashion sense, or their lack thereof. This leprechaun hat cake is comprised of chocolate cake, that's simple syrup, green mint buttercream, and chocolate buttercream. So I leveled and layered all my chocolate cakes, simple syrup them, and then I filled them and stacked them alternated a green mint buttercream and a chocolate buttercream. I have to say, for as old as this cake is, I'm really proud of it, and there's not much I would change. Yeah, there's not much. I don't say that a lot. If you knew me behind the scenes, I actually rarely say that. The brim just has like a really subtle upturn. So I kept thinking about how to make it stay like that. And so what I ended up doing is going to the dollar store and getting a disposable plastic platter. Just use all green fondant and add some CMC to the fondant that will make the brim. And what that does is help the fondant to harden more than it usually does. But make your brim ahead of time. The more time it has to dry, the better it will be. The base of the buckle is yellow gum paste. And just like the brim of the hat, you want to make this as far in advance as possible to make your life easier. Leprechauns and I should actually get along because we have a similar love. Gold. Look at that buckle. Look how shiny it is. So make all those pieces ahead of time. The reason I make them yellow is they are easier to cover in gold. If you don't have access to gold leaf, which by the way, gold leaf is very expensive. Technically, if you want to eat it, you have to use 24 carats. It's expensive because it's the cost of gold. You can also use gold luster dust, and you would use it in the same way and paint the buckle and all the little bits. So now we've got to carve the hat cake. The leprechaun hat is a double barrel cake, meaning I built it as two cakes and then I put them together with a board in between. This helps you cut the cake and it adds support. You also have to carve the cake because the leprechaun hat is not just like a cylinder. It has some shape. Oh, so that's me marking. I love to use a template, doweling. You don't see a lot of doweling on this channel, even though I do it.
Yeah, because it's not very engaging footage.
Fine, but it is important. Hold on, did you see how I used a gold cake board? I went all out for these leprechauns. Yes, so I've stacked both cakes to make the hat, finished carving, crumb coated the cakes, iced the cakes, and then now I'm starting to roll out the green fondant. I mean, the trickiest part about this cake is, anytime a cake is really simple, as in this is essentially just sort of a carved cylinder, it really leaves room for you to see imperfections. There's no pattern to hide it, there's no natural seam, there's nothing to hide a flaw. That is why I chose to cover this cake by wrapping it in fondant and leaving the seam at the back. I mean, first of all, a hat really would have a seam where it's sewn together. So now you can carefully pick up that cake and place it onto the brim that you have made. Now we have to create the belt that will go along the bottom of the hat. For this, you're gonna roll out some black fondant. So now we can add our gold buckle to that first black band. You'll wanna glue the buckle on with a little bit of clear piping gel. Okay, and then you add the little grommets. And I don't know why these leprechauns are so upset, because I think that little bit at the end just gives them a bit of, to be honest, I think they need like a feather or something.
True.
I think this cake is an upgrade because the hat only had a gold buckle. I need more gold, so this is a pot filled with gold. For this pot, I made chocolate cake and green vanilla cake. That's actually a really nice green. That's bang on for St. Patrick's Day. And then I simple syruped them. Oh my gosh, remember the simple syrup bottle covers? Oh, Bailey's. Yes, okay. Oh, did I fill this with a Bailey's buttercream? Winning. Now, whenever you add liquid to buttercream, A whisk is a better option. Oh yes!
Oh no!
This was so good! So I added Bailey's Irish cream to the buttercream, and then I added chocolate shavings.
I would just eat that entire thing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, look at me filling up this cake. Here I am alternating and stacking the cake with green cake, chocolate cake, and my Bailey's chocolate buttercream. And if you notice, as I build the cake, the two cakes that are top and bottom are slightly smaller in diameter than the ones in the middle. And that's because I knew I was gonna carve my pot like this. So no sense in, wasting more cake if I have that kind of control. Yeah, so now I'm carving this really cool pot. And what's great is it helps me to remove the caramelization on the green cake, because at the end of the day, all we want to see is this bright green cake. And now I'm going to crumb coat the pot and chill, and then I'm going to come back and ice the pot. I don't even have to watch ahead. I know that's what I'm gonna do. Oh, there's a whole lot of black fondant. Now I will say something about colored fondant. Often colored fondant, especially if it's dark, it can tend to really dry out when it has a lot of food coloring in it. And this cake is a perfect example, because I can remember rolling out this fondant and feeling like the black fondant was very dry, on top of the fact that at this time of year, it is cool in Toronto, so that adds to the cracking. And when we get to the finished part, you'll see up close, you can see there's like little cracks in the fondant. It's not completely smooth. And the only reason that didn't bother me is a coal pot is not smooth. It does have some subtle texture. So that's the only reason I let it slide, because I actually thought it added to making it look more realistic. Ooh, now I'm making the handles of the pot. So I rolled out some fondant into cords, and then I just used a circle cutter to help form them. And that way I could make sure that both handles were the exact same size.
How come you didn't do this the day before?
I probably did. A lot of the times I did do it the day before and reshot it. What were we gonna do? Film for 1 hour on one day? So a lot of the times when you see these details, I in fact made them the day before and then remade them on camera so you guys could understand the process and how I did it. So I've decided to paint the fondant. Hopefully this will be where we really notice the texture. And that is so I can add a little bit of sheen. It won't end up being this shiny when it dries, because I mix gel color with alcohol and the alcohol evaporates. So as you can see, as it dries, it's not as shiny. For the gold nuggets on top of this pot of gold, I made sponge toffee, which is really delicious, easy to make. We'll put the link to the recipe. And if you don't want to make it, you can also buy sponge toffee, and you can buy a crunchy bar. Are there crunchy bars in America? Put it in a bowl, and then I tossed it with gold luster dust. And it works perfectly because the sponge toffee already has a natural golden undertone. Really great. And then I'm going to put a combination of the sponge toffee and some gold chocolate coins into the pot. Okay, I think this was nice of me, because I made the Leprechaun his own pot of gold to find under a rainbow. I paid it forward. So this is a bit of a cakeception, because like all those little nuggets that were in the pot of gold, I'm really making it all about the gold now.
So they're just going into
just more gold. Now we're all the way, now it's only about gold. Oh, I did Bailey's cream cheese frosting and chocolate ganache. For the inside of this cake, I baked a Guinness chocolate cake. Yeah, I'm filling it with a Bailey's buttercream, a dark chocolate ganache. Oh, why did I use green? Oh, I guess I used green compound chocolate, and then I drizzled it over. I think I just wanted something green in here because it's St. Patty's Day. But what's nice when you do this, I crisscrossed, it sets quickly, and then you get a little bit of crunch in the cake and little chocolatey bits. So it kind of almost feels like there's mini chocolate chips in the bite. So this cake is a combination of building up the shape as well as carving. What I did is I saved all the humps, and then I just sort of tore pieces out of them and glued them up against the side of the cake to really sort of extend the cake.
to nuggetify.
Nuggetify. This is the nugget objectification of a cake. I'm gonna say something here and don't make fun of me, Orhan. This is actually a really good beginner cake. I mean, what is a nugget? A nugget can look like anything. So you can't get, you know, anxiety about carving this. But once you've nuggetified your whole cake, you can then crumb coat the entire outside with chocolate ganache. Sponge toffee, sponge toffee, sponge toffee, sponge toffee. I made a lot of sponge toffee. Okay, so what I did is I took a whole slab of sponge toffee. It was probably slightly lukewarm at the very least. And then I just wrapped it around. And this is why I say it's easy, because you can let it crack, you can have gaps, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So you can really have fun with this. So this is truly, I have nailed it, guys. This time when I tell you this is a good beginner cake, this is a good beginner cake. Okay, look at the gold. Guys, the gold. I mixed the gold luster with Bailey's. Yeah, normally I use clear food grade alcohol, but in this case I made an exception because the whole thing was so golden underneath and I just wanted to, you know, be on theme. It's on brand. This is St. Patty's. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you will help me make St. Patty's Day a baking holiday. And I also hope you'll help me give a shout out to my old friend, Leprechaun. Hey there, do you forgive me? Helena, have you met him?
I packed him away.
Well, he'll go back in the box shortly. But for today, he's just perfect. We're so happy you're here. Yeah, that hat's kind of cute.